This is a strange story that I keep in my memory. In a book whose name I no longer recall, a book about unexplained phenomena recorded around the world, I read one day about a strange case. I will tell it here as I remember it. The Strange Case of Mr. SHOLTZ. Once upon a time, there was a certain Mr. SHOLTZ. Mr. SHOLTZ worked in a textile factory. When this happened, he was about 50 years old. He had worked in that factory all his life. Anyone would say, and they did say, that Mr. SHOLTZ had a very monotonous life. Single, he lived in a small house next to the factory. The routine didn't bother him. Every afternoon, he had an hour off. On those occasions, Mr. SHOLTZ would go home, eat a sandwich, drink a cup of coffee in the kitchen, and religiously go to a modest study, take an old book from a small shelf, sit in his comfortable armchair, a quality piece of furniture, one of the few luxuries he owned, and open the book.
Mr. SHOLTZ had a part-time housekeeper who did the housework twice a week, and to her, Mr. SHOLTZ had given a single recommendation. Madam, never, never touch that armchair. Never move my armchair even a millimeter, neither by cleaning nor by not cleaning. Never move that armchair. Better yet, don't even touch it. And never, never open the door to this office when I am here. Never, under any circumstances, enter here while I am here. What no one suspected was that there was something paranormal about that reading habit cultivated for decades. In the same armchair, the same book. During his approximately 45 minutes of rest in that office, SHOLTZ, opening the book, due to a phenomenon he could never understand, didn't really read. He transcended reality, the world, the physical dimension, the limitation of time. The man, physically, disappeared, sucked into the book in flesh, bones, and blood.
Where did Mr. SHOLTZ go? Nobody never did know. He would disappear, but he would return precisely 1 minute before the factory's call siren sounded. He would return, regurgitated by the book in its entirety, seated in his armchair. He would get up, pick up the book that had fallen on the floor, close it, and put the volume back in the same place. One afternoon, the siren sounded, but SHOLTZ didn't appear in the factory shed. It took them a while to notice his absence, but when he didn't appear, his colleagues finally realized and began to search. They called his name everywhere. In vain. No one had seen him after the break. Someone remembered that he lived near the factory, and some workers went there, worried. At the door of the house, they were greeted by the maid. "Mr. SHOLTZ?" "He's in the office, I think," the woman said in a hesitant tone of voice, eyes downcast, hands restlessly clutching her apron.
She pointed to them, the closed door. Without hesitation, the production supervisor, who was there, put his hand on the doorknob, turned it, and entered the room. There was no one there. The empty armchair, the strange old book lying open on the floor, showed an illustration of a paradisiacal place. The maid, fearful but unable to contain her curiosity, put her head in the doorway of the office, and seeing the scene, let out a hoarse cry. "My God! What is it, woman?" She stammered words, visibly frightened.
Speak, woman. It's an office. It's just an office. Where is SHOLTZ? Finally, with silent tears sliding down her face, she said, I moved. You moved what, woman? I moved the armchair. It was just a bump. I swear. I put it back in place. I think. I moved the armchair.
The man had vanished into thin air. Diligent police investigations were conducted for days. Newspaper reports were published. Posters with the man's photo were plastered on city lampposts. All in vain. Time goes on. The incident faded into oblivion. There was no news. Years passed. The furniture was auctioned off, the books donated, the house sold and demolished. Mr. SHOLTZ was never seen again. The world forgot Mr. SHOLTZ, but I always will remember this history.